everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing really well. Today I'm creating a background with some distress stain and I'm just applying it to this piece of glass. You can use any smooth surface and I have done this technique before on a plastic lid. It worked pretty well. Just keep in mind that with every surface you'll slightly get a different result, but it will be very similar. I would also suggest just testing out a little bit of color before adding too much, just to make sure that it's not staining your surface. After applying the distress stain to the glass, I'm just adding a little bit of water with a paintbrush. You can also use a spray bottle, and that is actually the method that I prefer, but unfortunately I've got ink in all my spray bottles, hence using the paintbrush. The colors that I'm using are Spiced Marmalade, Vintage Photo and Mustard Seed. I have recently noticed that I don't really use a lot of orange and yellows, and I've decided to give it a go, but I would say that I haven't succeeded very well because I added a bit too much brown and you only get hints of the orange and the yellow, not as much as I would have liked to come through. So hopefully if I try this again, I'll be brave enough and maybe add less brown or just leave it off completely. As you can see, the distress stain cleans off very easily from the glass. You just give it a wipe with a damp cloth and then I'm just drying it with some paper towel. On this day we did a road trip starting in Frankston and we went through Mornington and all the way down to Toronto and Victoria, and we used this map just to guide us along the way and also just to go to certain spots that we really wanted to visit. So I wanted to include it in my journal, but it's just way too big and it's going to bulk it up extremely. So I've decided to just tear a piece off and use some of it. And the part that really grabbed my attention was the heading of the map. So I'm going to be adding this part that says Mornington, and I'm just tearing along it, trying to create a very rugged look. I want that part to look well used and loved. I'm giving it slightly a fold so it just fits in very well into the spine of the book. This spread is going to be over 2 pages, and when I do an entry on 2 pages, I love to just add things that overlaps from the one page to the next. I am going to be using just a normal glue stick to get that into my book, and early in the morning the first thing we did is we stopped at a cafe on the beach and we had some breakfast. We paid for the parking and I got this ticket for it, so I just wanted to include it. And I'm also going to be adding this tea bag. Now this tea I didn't have on this day, but during the winter months, and that's the time when we did this trip actually, I drank a lot of flavored tea, and this ended up being my favorite, the apple and ginger tea. So I really wanted to document it, but I didn't want to dedicate a whole page to just drinking tea. So since it happened during this timeline and in the season, I wanted to include that memory, and that is definitely something that you can do if you love collecting mementos from your day-to-day life. This journaling tag is from a Tim Holtz pack, and I've just punched a hole at the top and I'm using the label of the tea, and that's just going to make it easier to pull out of the tea bag. And I'm using some brown tarlatan ribbon and I'm going to be sticking that to the card and just layering the photo over the ribbon. I am using about 90% of Tim Holtz products, so I will be mentioning that quite a lot. So if there's something that I leave out, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be something from Tim Holtz. So this card and that flower die cut piece is also from Tim Holtz. The die cut is from the Botanical Ephemera pack, and I can't remember what pack this card came in, but I've just stuck that photo over the card, and I'm going to start adding some photos. Now I've taken a lot of photos, and my spreads are generally very photo heavy, but also just depending on how thick my journal is. So it will be within reason always, and this journal still has a lot of space to grow, and that's why I'm adding so many photos. When I get to the end of it, I will probably start using less of it. And I've just printed 2 postcards out, and usually on one postcard I get 4 photos. So in total there I've got 8 photos, and then I've also got 1 in the tea bag, so that is 9 photos in total. But it's just so difficult to choose which ones to leave and which ones to add. So if I've got space, why not add a whole lot of them? Most of my photos are printed off the Canon selfie printer, apart from the one in the tea bag. That one was from my HP Sprocket. I'm going to be adding that photo to this journaling card just with some fabric glue. The only reason I'm using fabric glue is because my double-sided tape's finished and I need to pick up some more, and that was something that was just close by, but I end up really loving it because you've got time to move the photo around if you haven't positioned it correctly. Where with double-sided tape, there is absolutely no luck of doing it. You're just going to damage or rip your page or your card. So I don't know, I might just be using this fabric glue. You can, of course, use any type of wet glue. It doesn't have to be fabric glue. I'm just adding a phrase there, and this is from a Tim Holtz sticker sheet. And then I'm going to be tipping in that card with some washi tape. But after tipping it in, I have realized that the sticker that I've stuck there is just not going to work because the washi is going to go half over it, and I almost left it like that, and then I thought, no, that's just like not the look that I like. I don't want to go for it. So I've removed the sticker, and of course it's left some damage behind. You can definitely see something was stuck there. So I can't just leave it like that, but I always know that every mistake is definitely fixable and I can cover it up. So I've decided just to take another sticker from the sheet and just put it on there. Now, after doing that, I'm looking back at it and I'm thinking that there is just too much going on the left side of that card, and I want to balance it out a bit more. So I'm going into this Kaisercraft pack. It's called Open Road, and I've grabbed these 2 pieces and I'm just deciding which one I prefer. They are very similar. There's just a slight color difference between them. The one's more brown and the other is green. So after making my decision, I've just decided to put that there in the right corner to balance it out. These 2 photos, I'm just going to be sticking them together back to back, and then I'm going to be creating another tip in. I was definitely in a very floral mood, and I've been having some of these floral stamps that I've been very eager to use, so I've decided to use them today. So I'm adding one there at the top, and then I'm going to be layering this photo over the stamp. I'm also going to be adding another word sticker. So throughout this page, I think in total I'm adding 3 word stickers, and all of them are kind of on the photos. I really feel that that just ties in very well with the whole page, and it brings it together and makes it look more complete. So this cluster here at the bottom is coming together very nicely, and I'm adding another used stamp, and I will also be adding another sticker there. And I keep going back and just looking to see how everything works together and how the whole page is going to look as a whole. In my entries, I love using a combination of decorational pieces that I've bought, like the Tim Holtz journaling cards and word stickers, but I also love using mementos from my day-to-day life, like that parking ticket and the tea bag. I feel that they just bring more character to the page, and it just makes it more special. So I'm just writing on that card about the breakfast that we had. It was quite chilly still in the morning since it's August, but the sun was shining and it was very close to spring. So I think we really wanted to have warm weather, and we decided to sit outside at the cafe and have our breakfast, but we were oblivious to the cold, just ignoring it. But actually we were shivering and we should have just had a spot inside, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to do it. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.